Hello, welcome to the channel. My name's Matt, this is Bask in the Story, and today we're doing a tag video. I was kindly tagged by Colin from Colin's Corner, who I'll obviously put in the description. This is the 24 rapid fire book questions, so we're going to try and keep it really quick, really sharp, bang, 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 and I'll try not to do my typical thing of blathering on nonsense for too long in each question. So it's 24 questions, we'll fly through them. Question 1, ebook or physical book? Physical book. Old school. I've not really got into ebooks. I understand the benefits, but for me, physical book always wins at the moment. Paperback or hardback? I probably lean towards paperback. That's my natural preference. I do like the look of some of the hardbacks, but I probably own a lot more paper. No, not probably. I do own a lot more paperbacks than I do hardbacks. Question 3, online or in-store book shopping? So I do both. I do like to go and browse a nice bookstore. There's something about going into a bookstore that's just joyous. But I do obviously purchase online as well. I'd say 50-50. My preference would be probably to buy more in-store, but I do lean to buying online as well, just because it's convenient. Trilogies or series? I'm not particularly fast. I like a good series, whether it comes in 3 books, 4 books, 2 books, 7 books, or Discord 41 books. I don't mind, as long as there's the story to tell that matches the number of books. I mean, some series get dragged out too far, and some trilogies perhaps could be duologies. So I'm not overly fast. I don't know what question number I'm up to. Is it question 5? Heroes or villains? Oh, I do love a good hero, but then I think it takes a special skill to write a villain that you can understand and aren't the sort of caricature of evil, but actually have a motive that makes sense. You may not necessarily agree with the actions they're doing, but you can understand their motives. So maybe I lean towards villain, an excellent villain, but can you have one without the other in a good story? We'll go villain. A book you want everyone to read. A book I want everyone to read. I know, this might surprise some people, but it's going to be one I read recently and I put off for ages, but I would recommend everybody reading Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I know. Not one I would expect to be advertising, but there's a reason why this is very highly regarded. It is superb. It is one of my best books of the year that I've read. Yeah, absolutely superb. If you haven't read it, because you put off by it being a romance or all that, put that to one side. This is an excellent, witty, informative, incredibly well-written book. So get over that and read it. It's brilliant. Let's put that back. Okay, now I've got to remember where I am now. Recommend an underrated book. An underrated book. Hang on. Underrated book. I don't know if it's underrated or not, but I don't hear many people on my Corner BookTube talking about it. So it may just be the Corner BookTube I've seen. But it would be the David Eddings book. So the Bulgariad and the Mallorean series. Anyway, these books are epic fantasy. And the reason I love them is because I started reading them as a teenager. They were recommended to me by a friend of the family. And I sort of fallen out of reading and wasn't reading a great deal. And these got me back into it. And I loved them. I devoured all, was it 10? How many books are there? Books, there are more than that, but I haven't read them. I then moved on to other series as well. But they will always stick with me and I don't see much of them on BookTube. So, David Eddings. The last book you finished? Last book I finished was, I believe, Pearl by Sian Hughes, which was on the book along list. I love this book. There will be a review. It may already be up, depending on when I get this video up. Absolutely brilliant, about grief, loss, and life after significant loss. Loved it. Brilliant. The last book you bought. Okay, so I have just ordered, again shopping online, so I've been reading, actually it's just down here, there it is. Been reading The Grace of Kings by Ken Liu, and about 3/4 of the way through, thoroughly enjoying it. So I did order the next 3 in the series last night, so they'll be ordering. The last book I actually received was, oh, that's not the question. It was this one actually, but I want to talk about it. It was this one, Chasing Venus by Andrea Wolf. Actually sent to me by Andrea Wolf, so thank you very much for that. So this is a non-fiction regarding when they were first measuring the transit of Venus across the sun. I read her other book, The Invention of Nature, and the Adventures of Alexander von Humboldt, which was superb. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Read it at the beginning of the year. Brilliant. This is another book I've been wanting to pick up, and she very kindly sent it to me. So very excited about that. Let me put that on there for a minute. What's name am I? Weirdest thing you've used as a bookmark. I don't think I've used anything weird as a bookmark. I generally use bookmarks, occasionally a receipt or a train ticket or a scrap piece of paper maybe. But I don't think I've used anything particularly weird as a bookmark. Nothing springs to mind anyway. We'll move on. If anything comes into my head, I'll come back to it. Used books, yes or no? Yes. Yeah. I'll go to a used book store and purchase a used book. Absolutely. In fact, I bought recently, somewhere down behind me, hang on. I don't know how good this looks on camera. I can't reach it. I bought this one, Handmaid's Tale, secondhand. But what I loved about it was that whoever put it back in has actually annotated it. So I'm quite looking forward to reading this because I was flicking through it and they've got some quite interesting annotations on it, and it'll be, the thing about it is, I don't annotate, I'm not anti-annotation, it's just something I don't do, but I'm quite looking forward to reading this book and seeing what annotations somebody else has made, somebody I'll never met, probably never meet, and just seeing what stuck out to them and the points they understood and raised. So it'll be like reading, kind of like reading with a friend that I've never met. So I'm quite looking forward to that one. Let's make a pile here because I'll get through these. Where am I now? I've lost my place again. Used book, yes or no? Okay, top 3 favourite genres. Okay, so fantasy, sci-fi, and then the third one, I don't know the third one. The third one will be a huge mix of, non-fiction, literary fiction, thrillers, yeah, and more, whatever takes my fancy is the third one. Borrow or buy? I like to do a mixture. I probably borrow, no, not probably. I do borrow a lot less than I buy, if I'm honest with myself. I do, most of my borrowing is done through the Libby app, generally audiobooks through Libby app, and most of the physical books I will buy. As I'm not really into ebooks at the moment. Maybe that's something I need to get into and be borrowing that way. But yeah, so I'll probably buy more than I borrow. Characters or plot? I mean, obviously, ideally both, but characters or plot? I suppose my instinct is to say plot, but the more I think about it, the more I think the characters stay with me more than the plot stays with me. And a prime example of that would be Raymond E. Feist's Magician. I think this is now split into 2 books. Is it Magician's Apprentice and something else? But anyway, this is both of them in one, as it was originally. And honestly, I don't remember a huge amount about the plot, but what I do remember is the feeling at the end of how far the main character had come, his sort of coming age of story, and how much he developed and how he'd become from a boy to a young man, and that will always stick with me. So maybe it's the character and the character development that sticks with me more than the plot. So maybe character would be the right answer for that one. Long or short books? I'm not fussy. Doesn't particularly bother me. A long book is always a bit more daunting if it's an author or genre that I don't know that I'm going to love. Then a long book is more daunting. I will dabble more in short books if I'm entering into a new area of reading for myself. But if it's a genre or an author I enjoy, then a long book is quite exciting. But you can pack so much into a short book as well. So I'm not fussed either. Long or short chapters? Short chapters. If it's going to be chapters, short chapters are my preference. Or you do a Terry Pratchett, Discworld, which is hidden there or up there, and no chapters. But as long as it's got breaks, where you can stop and put the book down. Because I'm not someone who will sit and read a book through in one sitting. And, I have reading like short bursts, like 15, 30 minutes. The max I'll ever read probably is about an hour in one sitting. And I have a 2-year-old running around the house, so I need to be able to do it in short chunks because I'm bound to be disturbed at some point before I get into too deep. So short chapters is my preference. Name the first 3 books you think of. First 3 books I think of, which aren't the ones I've already discussed. Shall we do that? Okay. Girl with Dragon Tattoo. This one I'm going completely blank on any books whatsoever. Girl with Dragon Tattoo, The Hobbit, and let's pick a third one. Let's go for East West Street. There we go. This is a non-fiction book that I read earlier in the year, and it's still one I think about now, so worth doing. Books that make you laugh or cry. I love a humorous book. I love something that's going to make me laugh. If the book can do both, make me laugh, cry, and think, then that is the perfect book. But I do lean towards humorous books over books that will make me cry. But the impact of a book that makes you cry is perhaps more meaningful in some cases. I lean towards a book that will make me laugh. Our World or Fictional Worlds? Again, I don't have a strong preference. I do thoroughly enjoy books that are set in our world, but then I am quite a keen fantasy and sci-fi reader, which is set into the future or some other place. So maybe Other Worlds? The escapism of it all? Yeah, we'll go for that, Other Worlds. Fictional Worlds, sorry. Audiobooks, yes or no? Yes. Most definitely yes, audiobooks, yes. They're fantastic. Occasionally the narrator doesn't work for me, but in general, audiobooks, definitely a great way to consume a story. And to me, I know some people think that audiobooks don't count as reading, but for me, it's all about that, understanding the story and communicating the story. And, the oral tradition was the original storytelling. So why not audiobooks? They're brilliant. Do you ever judge a book by its cover? Yeah, absolutely. Doesn't mean to say I won't read a book because of its cover, but I may pick up a book I wouldn't necessarily have picked up because of its cover. There's some incredible artists in the cover design arena, and they do some incredibly beautiful work and some amazingly eye-catching work. So yes, I will judge a book by its cover. Book to movie or book to TV adaptations. So depends on the book, I think. So if you've got a sort of a standalone book, then a movie probably works absolutely fine. If you've got a big series, then you're probably TV adaptation, gives you longer to tell that story. So yeah, it depends on the book, the story and the books. A movie or TV show you preferred to its book? Okay, there's one. So it's one again I read recently, but I do love the film, Jurassic Park. I actually enjoy this book. It's nothing to say against this book. I do really love this book. But the film is stupendous. It's a brilliant film. I remember watching it when I was much younger originally, seeing it in the cinema originally, and it was just awe-inspiring seeing the dinosaurs on the big screen. So I would say Jurassic Park, film better than the book, though the book is still really good. And if you've not read the book, I'd encourage you to read the book even if you've watched the film, because it is a very entertaining read. Okay, I think we are almost done. Is there any more questions? Series or standalones? I like both. I mean, in fantasy, there's an awful lot of series. There's very few standalones in fantasy. So I like the uniqueness of a really good standalone in fantasy. But then in the other genres I read, they're generally more standalones than there are series. So, and I like to hover between the two. I like to pick up a standalone every now and then. I like to pick up a series. But I find, I don't think I prefer either. I think I'll lean into either. I've got a couple of series on the go at the moment, but I've also read quite a few standalones recently. So yeah, no preference on that front either. Right, so now I need to tag some people. So we will tag some people. So I'm going to tag some people who read probably outside the sci-fi and fantasy more, but they dabble and they read a broader genre. So let's pick some people who read bigger genre than I do, or have slightly different preferences, but I enjoy watching. So we will do Ali read a book. We will do Michaela reads. We will do Bex from Sniffing the Sheets, and we will do Gem of Books as well, because I watch all their channels, so I enjoy their content. If you haven't checked them out, check them out. They do read different genres to what I tend to read, but well worth watching. You'll have some good literary fiction in there. You'll have some great horror and thriller recommendations from some of them as well. So go and check their channels out. And that is all I have done. I think I did all 24. It's possible I missed some, but I think I've done them all. If I haven't, then I will put all the questions in the question. We'll put all the questions in the questions. I'll put the questions in the descriptions, so you can see them. And if I've missed one, ask me in the comments, and I'll try to answer it. Or if I notice when I'm editing, I might have bunged something in the editing. But I think that's all 24. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I look forward to seeing your rapid fire bookish questions as well. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.